Hi everyone, welcome back for another book review. Today I am reviewing A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. Another Oprah's book club pick. She got me for a second time, okay? My last book review, which was for All the Way to the River, was an Oprah's book club pick. I don't know like how come she's just like on my she's like in my algorithm just like trying to get me, because she wasn't for like a long time. But anyway, if you have been seeing the same things as me, then you might have seen this book, and that's why we're here to talk about it. So I have my notes here. We are going to talk about like a quick synopsis. Again, I'm not going to try to, as I usually do, give a bunch of spoilers. I'm going to talk about what the book was about, some basic themes, talk about like the writing that was in the book, who should read the book, how it made me feel, all that good stuff. So let's get into it. So A Guardian and a Thief, first of all, I actually like really love the cover of this book. It's something about like, first of all, it's like kind of matte and it's like simple. I love the colors and yeah, I just think it's a really like pretty book to look at, and it's really small. So if you are looking for like a good in-between read and you don't want to read anything like too long, this book was 205 pages. So a very easy, quick read. So here's what the book is about. So it's Kolkata, India, and the area and the region is struggling. Like it's been overrun with floods and famine. People who are farmers can't farm. People are losing their jobs. There's just like a lot of struggle going on. And in the city and also like in the outskirts, like the whole region is struggling. And everyone is just basically trying to survive, right? So everyone's trying to survive, everyone's trying to find food, everyone is trying to find something to protect, to look out for their family, for their children, for their elderly parents. So everyone's collectively struggling, which means it's every man for themselves. So it's not like you could be like, you know, this specific area is struggling, let's band together to help them. No, everyone's struggling, everyone is in it for themselves, which makes the whole book and the whole community like very tense, and you can't trust anyone, right? So that's the whole like premise of what's going on in the area. There are four main characters. It's Ma, Mishti. Mishti is Ma's daughter. There's Dadu, which is Ma's father, Mishti's grandfather. And then there's another boy who's not related to them. His name is Boomba, right? In the book, Boomba is labeled like as the thief, and there's no like real label of who the guardian is, right? So Ma, Dadu, and Mishti are very excited because they just got their passports and their visas, and they are in 1 week set to come to America to meet up with Ma's husband, who is living and working in Michigan. So he's in Michigan, he's like setting up like the life for them. They're gonna migrate, and they're gonna finally be free of all of like, you know, the struggle, the famine, the flooding, just the life, you know, something to look forward to, right? So they have 1 week, at least they can hold on to hope for that, right? And struggle through one more week of famine. Lo and behold, Boomba, which is the thief, breaks into their house, like I want to say like a few days before they're supposed to go. And he's not like trying to steal their visas or their passports or anything like that. He's trying to steal food because, like I said, everyone's trying to find food. He unintentionally though like steals Ma's bag, which had like the passport with the visas and all that stuff, and like discarded it because it's like, what are these random books? Like, I'm trying to find food. He takes the food from them, he takes the money, but like throws the bag out with the passports. So mind you, this whole book is just set in over the period of like 1 week. So the whole rest of the book just becomes like this extremely like stressful struggle of like trying to like find the passports, trying to find the person who stole it, trying to, when they realize that they can't find the passports, they need to see if they can find alternative means. Maybe they might need to make fake passports. Then they have to go to people to help them with that. But then those people are also just trying to get money and they're in it for themselves. And like, is the passports that they gave them gonna work at the airport? And it's this whole big, long thing, right? Of them trying to figure it out. And throughout there's like violence, people fighting other people, there's more stealing, there's more, selfishness. There's, in between, there was like a little bit of like a political, or I don't know how to like describe it. There's this one specific lady. She's not really named or anything. She's just called like the millionaire. And she lives in this like island in the middle. And she's having like a banquet and a feast because obviously she's rich and all these problems don't apply to her. And that was like a little bit of like throw that in there of like, just so you know, like while all the regular people are like struggling and, fighting for their lives, there's always the rich who, are set, and they try to like, she's thrown this banquet so that people who are like struggling or who have kids can come and like eat for like one day. Like, what's that gonna do? You know what I mean? And that ends up being like a whole disaster. Like people rebel and try to like steal from her and all this madness. But yeah, the whole book just goes through the story of like, is Ma and Mishti and Dadu gonna make it? Can they find their passports? Can they find the thief? What's the thief's like? What's his reasoning for doing what he's doing? All of that is just unfolded really nicely in this 205-page book. So, like I said, I'm not gonna give too many spoilers, but that's what the book is about, right? So the themes, of course. So struggle, right? What do you do when your whole region, your whole area is going down the drain and you literally have to like fight to survive for yourself and then also for your family members. Desperation, right? And what that can like actually lead to. Like there was one part of the book, this is not really like a spoiler, but there was one part of the book where Dadu was like going about trying to like, again, he's also trying to like find the passports and doing what he can as like an elderly man. And he goes into this old bank because like places are abandoned, like nobody's working, things like that. And he goes up the stairs and in one of these abandoned offices, he finds like an orange, like a random orange, which, oh, I was going to say, is this the orange? He finds an orange and he just like takes it because like obviously he's hungry and he wants to like bring back a little bit for his granddaughter Mishti. And while he takes it, he hears somebody say like, no, don't take that, like a little voice. And under one of the tables was like a little kid, and the kid's mother had gone to like do something, and his mother had told him like, just stay here, hold on to the food, blah, blah, blah. And like Dadu understands like this kid also needs the food, but like he's like, I'm hungry, my granddaughter is hungry, and like he ends up like taking it from him, which is like sad. But like that sort of thing, there's a lot of that, like what will people do when they're desperate and they have to like take care of themselves and their family members. There's a lot of like sacrificing, like fighting to protect, like physically fighting to protect your family, yourself, and then like underlying themes of like, this is what I'm gonna do to like redeem myself, mostly on the part of Boomba the thief. So a little bit of his story is that he used to live in like the rural countryside area and did some stuff to like kind of set his family back a little bit in terms of like their home, and long story short, like he had ended up like burning down their house. And so he wanted to come to the city to, make money. And while he was really young, he was like, just let me go. Like, I know I did this. Let me go. I'll make money. I'll get a home for you guys and then y'all can come. And so like a lot of the stuff that he's doing, even though he's labeled as the thief, it's like, he's trying to redeem himself in the eyes of his family. He's also trying to protect himself and find place for his family to go and stay. So like things like that. The writing I actually really loved. I feel like it was I felt like, you know what it felt like when you read just like a short story. Like it's a book, of course, and it's a short story, of course, but it's like, when you read like a really good essay and it's just like, this was good writing. The chapters are split into like mini sections, so some of them longer than others. I'll show you one. So the chapters, this one says day 2, and then there's like A, and then B, then like it goes like that, C, D, all the way. Some of them just have like A, B, C. Some go all the way to like, I think like H, I. Depends on like the chapter. So I really like that. That's good for like if you need to like take a break and you're not like reading on and on and on for forever. And then I also like that there were like chapters like this that said like phone, and it was phone conversations between Ma and her husband in Michigan. So that gave it like another little bit of texture too as well. And then some parts were told from Ma's point of view, some were told from Boomba, the thief. So really good writing. I love, it was like a good mix of characters and also like different things, like I told you, like the phone conversation. Who should read this book? I think everyone. It's a really good book. It's packed with drama. Like I said, if you need a short book, if you're like in between books and you just need a quick like story, I think this would be a good one for you. It's packed with drama and like strong emotions, literally from page 1 to the very last page. So everyone needs to read this book. How did the book make me feel? Okay, so this I have like 5. So number 1, it kind of hit like a little bit close to home for me because I feel like as an immigrant myself, I'm like thinking like if I was leaving in 1 week from Trinidad to America and my passport was stolen, like I would be sick, like literally sick. And so like it kind of hit close to home. I feel like anybody who has been like an immigrant would know, or even like if you're a traveler, you're going on vacation, and like I mean people don't have like physical tickets or anything, but like if your ticket was lost or your passport was lost, like things like that, it was like you were able to like kind of like relate to that a lot. So that made me feel like the stress and the anxiety in the book. But I did feel like very hopeful for Ma and Mishti and Dadu the whole time. I was like, they're gonna find it. Like this book is gonna turn around in the 99th hour. They're gonna make it to Michigan and everything is gonna be great. So there was hope as well as anxiety and stress. I was very disappointed in how like the morality, like how morality can and will like go out the window when desperation is like around. And it's not just like from the book, it's just like in general, you know, it's just disappointing to know like this stuff described in the book could 100% happen. Which I like, another feeling that I had was like scared, right? Like right now with the whole climate of everything, like people are always saying like, this is what the future is going to be like, this is what's going to happen. And I feel like this book kind of gives like a little bit of like what we can anticipate. And that was a little bit sad and scary. And then it also made me feel sad because, and I'm not gonna say who, obviously, and there's like only a handful of characters in the book, but I was sad at the end because 2 of the characters died. So I'm just like, well, but that's for you to read to find out which 2. Hopefully you can't guess it. And then, yeah, I would recommend this book. I initially gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, but like going back and like prepping for this book review, I'm like, you know what, it actually was like a really good story. And I bumped it to 4. And not like, I'm not giving it 5 just because I didn't like how the story ended. I like when stories end nicely with a nice bow, like as I always say. It kind of left me with like a question or 2, which I could share. I feel like in the story, on those like phone conversations when Ma was talking to her husband in Michigan, I feel like she wasn't like being truthful to him, and she was trying to like protect. So she never told him that they had lost, somebody had stolen the passports. She never told him like they're trying to find it. She never told him like if they were hurt or there was a problem or blah, blah, blah. And I guess she was trying to like protect the husband, but like not making him be worried from America. But I feel like at the same time, it's like, this is serious. Like you need to like tell someone, even though I don't know, maybe she felt like he couldn't help her from America. I don't know. I didn't like that. And then at the end, I kind of like was left. I was like, wait, who? I know who the thief is, but like, who's the guardian? Like, there wasn't any other person that like swooped in to help, or I mean, the people were helping, but like one well-known, like by the end, you're like, this is the thief, this is the guardian. And then later, in retrospect, I was like, they're both like Ma and Boomba were both guardians and thieves, if that makes sense. Like they were guardians of themselves and their families, and they wanted to protect them and do all that they could to make sure that they were okay. And in doing so, they ended up being thieves because they had to like steal money, they had to steal food, they had to, you know, fight and do all this stuff. So in retrospect, I was like, oh, the guardian and the thief, it kind of represents them both. And if you read this book, you can let me know like if you came to that same realization or if you had a different point of view. I think this book has like a lot of topics and things that are like relevant today or can be super relevant like in our future coming up, and it's like a good book for like a book club or like just for like discussion. So I'm open to discussion. Definitely let me know what you thought about the book if you've read it. So that's my book review. I feel like I actually read this book like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've just kind of been putting off doing the book review. But I had some time today, so I was like, let me do it. Let me know if you've read this book before. What did you think in the comments? Of course, I always love talking about books in the comments. Or if you're interested in reading it. It's very short, like I said, and it's $29. But wait, I think I won this book. Did I win this book? I think I might have won this book in a Goodreads giveaway. I have to go back and check. But anyway, that's it for me. Like this video if you enjoyed this book review, share it with a friend or someone that you know is trying to get into reading, get back into reading, or who's read this book. Like I know people have read it. It's been out for a little bit. And subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next book review. Bye.